So now for a field of type 0, 2, what is the expression for gauge transformation of perturbations? So this is perturbed field at point P2 in gauge 2. This is perturbed field at point P1 in gauge 1. Let's start with the expression for the, we need to derive expression for this, and then using the same trick we will just split this up into the background value plus the perturbation, background value plus the perturbation, background value will cancel on both sides and we will get the expression for the perturbation transformation. But this is the first step. So the second step is easy. Second step is bonus, but this is where all the effort is involved. So let's start with the same steps. First we use this expression for now our f is f alpha beta. Okay, in the caret gauge I can write f alpha caret beta caret at P2 minus f alpha caret beta caret at P1. So f alpha caret beta caret at P2 minus f alpha caret beta caret at P1 is equal to minus f alpha beta background value prime at point P, xi 0 at point P. Okay. Now again the first step is this, we use this expression. Second step is that we do what? We use that 1 point transformation expression, because ultimately we want to keep this one. See, we want to keep this one, but this one we want to get rid of. This one we want to translate in terms of tilde, the value in tilde gauge. So alpha caret beta caret at P2, I want to know its value not at alpha caret beta caret but at alpha tilde beta tilde in tilde gauge. So what is the relationship between this and this? This relationship is given by 1 point transformation expressions which we have derived, and they are in the previous videos. Let's borrow from there and copy it here. F alpha tilde beta tilde at P2 is equal to f alpha caret beta caret at P2. So this is equal to, f alpha caret beta caret at P2. I am using now 1 point same pointer transformation minus xi mu alpha P minus xi mu alpha P. Okay. F bar mu beta P, F bar if this is xi, f bar mu beta P minus xi mu beta P minus xi mu beta P times f bar. So we have minus xi minus f bar. Now this will be mu. So we have alpha beta. This will be alpha mu P. That's it. 90% of the job is done. Now what next? Now just mathematics jugglery and the regular monkey business. So what's here? F alpha tilde beta tilde P2, F alpha caret beta caret P2 is equal to this. I like, because I need to see P2 in tilde gauge, I need to see this P1 in caret gauge. So this I want to get rid of. So I can write this as, from these two expressions, F alpha caret beta caret is F alpha caret beta caret P1 minus F bar prime for beta P xi 0 P, and then remaining these two terms here. So did I get the correct expression? Yeah, I got. So this is what I want to prove. Tilde at point P2 and value in caret at point P1, and the remaining terms are these three terms. Let's verify we got the correct one. So I have xi mu alpha f bar mu, yeah, so we got this one. Then xi mu beta f bar alpha mu, xi mu beta f bar alpha mu, we got this one. And then f alpha beta p xi 0, so we got this one. Okay, so this is the first part, and the second part is easy. Second part is simply you split this, you split it up into the background value f bar alpha beta p plus delta f in tilde gauge. P is equal to, this is f bar alpha beta p plus delta f caret alpha beta p minus three terms. This is one term and these are the remaining two terms. So there are total three terms here. Okay, and then you can cancel this. So this gives us expression for the gauge transformation of, but now they are all at point P. I can write the final expression without this point. Delta alpha delta f in tilde gauge, delta f alpha beta in tilde gauge is equal to delta f alpha beta in caret minus is, let's write it there. Here. So I have delta f alpha beta in tilde gauge is equal to delta f alpha beta in caret gauge minus f bar alpha beta prime xi 0 minus xi mu alpha f bar mu beta minus xi mu beta f bar alpha mu. So that's what we have now, and our next step is that we would like to write expression for 0 0 first, alpha 0 beta 0. So this is the part A which we want to derive, which we have derived. Now let's see if we can obtain some simplified expressions for the special cases. First case is alpha 0 and beta 0. Now when we want to do simplification, we want to take advantage of the form of tensor in the background universe. In the background universe, f alpha beta. In the background universe, what is the form of this tensor? We know from our knowledge of standard model of cosmology, the first course in cosmology, we have seen the expression for the background, for example, G alpha beta, we know the form of that expression, we know the form of expression of energy momentum tensor. So what is its, generally speaking, what is its form? Any tensor, any 0 to tensor, any 0 to cosmological field in the background universe, what is its form? Let's write its form. Its form, it is of the form, there is this term, and remember that there is only eta dependence for all the background fields. There is only eta dependence, there is no spatial dependence. So this will be eta dependent, then this is f bar 0 0 will be there, then I have zeros here, zeros here, and only diagonal terms will be present. Diagonal terms will be present here, and this will be further. You have seen this, that this is of this form. We can write it in compact form. We can write this as 1 by 3 delta ij fkk. This is, you can write delta ij and f bar kk, right? And what is f bar kk? We are repeating over this k index here. So f bar kk is sum of f bar 1 1, f bar 2 2, and f bar 3 3. That is, it is the trace of this matrix. So f bar, when you sum it over, this is actually a scalar. The tensor part is covered by ij, and f bar kk is scalar, because kk you are repeating. So f bar kk is actually sum of f bar 1 1 plus f bar 2 2 plus f bar 3 3, or you can say that this is actually trace of f bar ij. So you can say delta ij and 1 by 3 trace of fij. So this is actually trace, sum of the diagonal values. Okay, so now keeping this expression in mind, how we can simplify now for f alpha 0 0, delta f 0 0. Okay, so I can write and you can also write. So let's both write. We can write delta f tilde alpha beta is equal to delta f caret alpha beta minus 0 0 0 0 minus f bar prime 0 0 xi 0 minus xi mu 0 f bar mu 0 xi mu 0 f bar mu 0 mu. So let's verify mu and mu. Makes sense? 0 mu, mu 0. And you can see that f bar mu 0 and f bar 0 mu is the same, right? So you can simply add these two. Okay, so okay, yeah, so we can add these two. Let's see if I'm heading in the right direction. Looks like I am, but let's see. Maybe there is some mistake in my notes, but let's see. F bar 0, 0, xi 0 minus this can be, because F bar mu 0 and F bar 0 mu, they are the same. If they are the same, then can I write it like this? Because this can be replaced with the F bar 0 mu. And another thing to note down is that when you contract over mu, only the 0 part survives, because F bar 0 I is 0. So only 0 part will survive. So if I contract from here to here, I can now write this as this. Bar 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Is this what I have in my notes? So what I have in my notes is delta F tilde 0, 0, delta F caret minus 2 times I 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Yeah, this is what I have in my notes. Okay, good. So bar 0, 0 prime xi 0, 0. Okay, good. So the next step is that we write for C, which is alpha is equal to I and beta is equal to 0. Is that the next step? Sorry, A is, yeah. Okay, good. So we have derived this. Then now we are going to derive alpha I, okay, for I 0. Okay, let's use that expression for I and 0. We will get delta F tilde I 0 is equal to delta F caret I 0 minus F bar prime I 0 xi 0 minus xi mu. Alpha is I and beta is 0 minus xi mu 0 F bar I mu. Alpha is I and beta is 0. Looks correct. Alpha is I and beta is 0. Okay, moving on. So what is I 0? Look at the background universe. This is 0. Okay, and here, if when you contract over mu, only 0 component, only mu is equal to 0 will survive. So we can say this is 0 and this is I 0 I F bar 0 0 minus here only mu is equal to j will survive. Xi mu 0 F bar I j, and here you can say j, only j part will survive. So this is equal to delta F I 0 minus xi 0 I F bar 0 0 minus what is xi j with respect to 0 f bar ij. What is f bar ij? Minus xi j 0. What is f bar ij? F bar ij is 1 by 3. 1 by 3. What am I seeing here? Yeah, so 1 by 3 delta ij f bar k. Okay, so what will this tell me? This will tell me that delta, let's write this ditto here, this goes as it is here, f bar 0 0 0 I. Yeah, this goes as it is here, and this will be xi j. Now this is a 3 vector, so in 3 vectors I can write xi, whether I write j on top or j in the lower index, it will be the same, because it is it lives on three-dimensional Cartesian system. So in three-dimensional Cartesian system, I lower, I upper, I lower, it's the same thing. So this will be xi I comma 0 1 by 3 f bar k. Does it make sense? That means I comma 0 is basically, I can write prime. So xi I prime. That means, so what do we mean by here? So xi So xi 0 I, and here I am saying that yeah, so xi I prime. Okay. So okay, let's verify. Delta fi0, what do I have? I have delta fi0, then I have caret minus 0 I f bar 0 0 and minus 1 by 3 delta ij. Okay, so this is good. This is good. So we have first term is, so this is related to this, and these are the two terms in the transformation expression. Minus xi 0. Let's write the full expression. So we have delta f I 0 minus xi 0 I f bar 0 0 minus 1 by 3 xi prime, xi I prime, xi I, and prime is actually over the entire thing, this whole prime, f bar k. Okay, good. You can write this as I at the bottom, or you can write I on the upper index. It's the same thing. Any other thing we want to mention here? Okay, good. So let's now write the expression for alpha 0 beta I. Alpha 0 beta I. So that means we will have 0 I 0 I. So 0 I 0 I 0 I 0 I 0 I. Okay. So this is what we have now. Now what do we do? So what is 0 I? this anyway is going to be 0. This is 0. Okay, what is mu I? Only j component will survive. Only j component will survive. So this will be minus mu 0 f bar. Only j component will survive. And this will be j. Right. So here only 0, 0 will survive. Minus 0 I f bar 0, 0. Right? So this is what we get. And this is, what is f bar ji? This is, you can write delta ji or delta ij. It's the same thing. Delta ij 1 by 3 f bar k. Okay. So final expression is delta f caret 0 I minus 1 by 3 delta ij xi j comma 0, and you can leave it like this, or you can, if you like, you can write this as I in the lower index or I in the upper index. It's the same thing. Or you can leave it like this, or you can write I on top, in which case don't bother about matching indices, because this is again the Cartesian coordinates. Whether you write on top here or you write at the bottom, it's the same thing. Or you can leave it in this form. In this form, at least you can see that indices will match, because j and j is contracting and I is the free index, which is matching with the free index on the left hand side. So if you like, you can keep it in this form. So xi j0 minus f by minus xi 0 I f bar 0, 0. This is our expression for alpha is equal to 0 and beta is equal to I. Next, we would like to write expression for our next scenario is, so we have seen how many scenarios? We have seen A scenario. A is the expression for the gauge transformation of perturbation, B is case 0, 0, C is case 0 I, D is case I0, and now we are going to look at E scenario, which is IJ. E scenario, which is IJ. IJ. So what is IJ here? Where is the full expression? Delta f tilde IJ is equal to delta f caret IJ minus f bar prime IJ xi 0 minus xi mu prime alpha f bar mu j minus xi mu. So we have ij, then we have ji, j f bar I mu. Okay. So again, what is f bar ij prime? This is f bar kk. So let's write this. This will be 1 by 3 delta ij f bar kk prime xi 0. That's what this term will become, and this will become minus xi, because f bar mu j is basically, you can write this as mu j is because 0 component will not survive, only the k component will survive. You can say f bar k or you can say L xi L comma I f bar Lj minus xi L comma j f bar IL. So this is equal to this term can be further simplified. This will stay as it is, delta ij. And what is here? Here we have, this is basically delta Lj 1 by 3 f bar kk, and this will be delta I L f bar kk, right? So any simplification we can obtain here? What we can do here, let's see. So we have delta f ij minus 1 by 3 delta ij xi 0 f bar kk, and from these two we can say minus 1 by 3 f bar kk, here it is prime, minus 1 by 3 f bar kk, and I have xi L prime I delta Lj plus xi L prime j delta IL, right? So this can be written as delta f I j minus 1 by 3 delta I j xi 0 f bar kk prime minus 1 by 3 f bar kk. What is xi L I delta Lj? This you can write as xi j I plus xi I j. But again, if you want to see the, one second, this is delta f I j, this is delta f I j delta is equal to, if you want to see ij at the bottom, then you can simply bring j to the bottom, because again this is Cartesian coordinates. In Cartesian coordinates, three-dimensional Cartesian coordinates, whether you put on top or in the lower index, it's the same. Why? Because the metric is the delta ij. So metric is the tensor delta ij, and that's why whether you that's why x I is equal to x upper I is equal to x lower I. So when metric is delta ij, that's what here it is. So that's why we are writing this as like this. So this is the final expression, delta ij caret minus 1 by 3 f bar kk xi ji ij minus 1 by delta j f bar kk xi 0. Okay, good. So this is good. All right. So we have, congratulations, we have derived a very beautiful, went through all the mathematical machinery of taking a full 0 to tensor field from one gauge to another gauge, and we have looked at a variety of cases: 0 case, 0 I case, I0 case, IJ case, and we have seen that how we can leverage the expression of the background tensor to simplify all the scenarios. So in every scenario there is some simplification when we take advantage of the background tensor. Thank you.